Hello, everyone. Welcome. It's another wonderful Tuesday in September. Wonderful time of the year. Always gets a little darker. Gets pretty nice out there. A little cooler, unless you're here in Florida, where it never really gets that cool. So, we'll do some little things before the show gets rolling. We usually give it a few minutes to give time for people who want to come in and join us live. If you're watching on playback, I thank you for joining me. Thank you. Um, so that brings me to the first little announcement. We're actually going to change the time for this show. So normally we're running about 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, which is about 5 o'clock Pacific Time. So a lot of people are getting out of work right now and maybe want to catch the show and are not able to. So we're going to start next week around 9 o'clock Eastern Time, which will be about 6 o'clock Pacific Time. So it gives you a little time if you want to catch it while you're eating dinner and chime in on any of the stuff we talk about. You'll be able to do that. Um, doesn't help out people in Europe because then I'm on at about 3 in the morning over there or 5 in the morning. So I guess unless you're an early riser over in Europe, you're probably still watching on playback. And then I don't know, it might help the Australians somewhat. But yeah, I figure, I noticed there's a lot of people watching playback the morning after. So I think this will help a little with getting people in on live and join in on the live chats. Feel free to throw in anything you want to throw in. Thank you for that. Another thing is we are, when I say we, I mean like me, going to cut the shorts out. I tried it. Got so so um so views with it. But another thing is I don't really do short form very well. I do a lot of long form stuff. A lot of these episodes are 45 minutes, and I'm breaking them into three topics, which is roughly around 15 to 20 minutes each topic. So rather than just try to clip a little snippet of a topic, I'd like people to actually watch the whole topic. So the shorts are not going to be happening for anytime soon. So it'll just be straight video and live until we can figure something out with that. I don't know. I can try to make jokes. I could try to do improv, and then maybe that'll be like a quick 2 minute video that people can watch. But for now, I'm just gonna stick to the live and then cut it into videos that you can watch and go from there. So no shorts. If you were anticipating those, yeah, it's just long form now. So those are two things we're gonna change with the show. Getting a lot of beeps for the show. That's good. Thank you, Rumble, for that. Also, I'm gonna keep it to strictly three topics. And those three main topics every show are going to be politics, the economy, and dating. And we could throw in little stories here and there in between that stuff, but I think those three topics are the main topics that I really hit on. I really have the best knowledge on, and I give a take that no one else is really putting out there. So the show will be different in that point. Nope. Nobody wants to watch the same show over and over and over. I try not to copy other people's topics or stuff like that, but there occasionally is overlap just due to that's what's going on in the world. So I'm going to focus on those. That way, the shows are more focused. It's not, you don't know what type of show you're going to jump into. It's always going to be a show based off of that stuff. Plus, we'll throw in a story here and there. So, yeah, we'll kick it off with the quick story tonight of, P. Diddy. He's being held at MDC Brooklyn, and no bail for him. So, yeah, what is it? 3 hots and a cot for him. So, yeah, that was the news of the day that was really bubbling up on everybody, and so that's pretty quick. We could just knock that right out. Uh, Apparently, the feds have something really good on him because you don't jump ahead, arrest him the night before you were planning to arrest him, then try to hold him on no bail unless you've really got something on there because his lawyer will pretty much rip that to shreds if you don't. So I think we have to wait and see. I think the victims who have not really said anything or have not been identified may start coming out of the woodwork now. And we have to hear their stories, see if they're valid, and then be able to really look at the case and see where to go with it. It's still way too early. I haven't really heard what was taken from any of the raids that had been done at his homes in, I believe it was Florida and California. So, pretty early into this before I can really faithfully and confidently say how to go with this. So, there was a little snippet. He paid off 18 million on his home in Miami, hoping that he could put that up as collateral. It's worth about 48 million, and then he was planning to use his mom's house for another 2 million to put up 50 million as collateral for a bail, and they still rejected that. So he seemed to have known something may have been coming down the pipeline if he, paid off his home to kind of plan to use it as the collateral. So really kind of interesting how that whole thing is kind of falling through the pipeline down here, and now we're hearing the little tidbits from TMZ and other channels like that. All right. So let's get into the show. Let's open this up with our first topic, politics. A lot of interesting stuff went on over the weekend. I'm sure some of you may have seen some of it. Some of you may have heard some of it. Some of you may have not even know what's going on. So there was a second assassination attempt on President Trump. It was at his West Palm Beach golf course, about 12 miles down the road from Mar-a-Lago, where he was residing at the time. It seemed that from the reporting that he had just decided to go play around a golf with a partner. They proceeded to the golf course, and turns out somebody was hunting him because the the alleged assassin had been camped out around the area for about 12 hours or so. And from what I'm hearing, when Trump is on the move, there's a cavalcade, I'll say. There's multitude of vehicles that have to move with him. Secret Service protection, several vehicles to take on any attempts at him. So, it's 6 or 7 cars going down the road, and the roads do have to be blocked off when when he's moving around. So, he could have been spotted, and the alleged assassin saw that he was on the move and then proceeded to follow and find where he was. Tried to set up a spot. He had a camera with him. He had I'm going to say a weapon right now. I've not heard what it was. The weapon never fired. There were shots fired, but they were fired from the Secret Service towards him when they saw the rifle, I believe it was. So the first initial reports that a lot of people were reporting on that shots were fired in the vicinity of Trump. They were fired away from him. So luckily, it never got to the point where the alleged assassin was able to get a shot off or anything. So they were able to apprehend him. Tons of video on that. From the looks of him, I the initial photo I saw, I actually thought he was Two-Face from the Batman comics because he had black hair on one side and what looked like white hair on the other side. Turns out it was actually a really, really light blue he had dyed it, but just in that photo, it very much, if you ever seen Batman the Animated Series from the 90s, he looked like a cartoon version of Two-Face. Looked really crazy, hair all a mess, very zany looking. Come to find out, reports are coming out all over the place. I don't know what's been confirmed yet, but there were reports he was in Pakistan trying to assemble militias or something like a militia, trying to get a lot of individuals from that country to go with him to then go into Ukraine and then to fight Russians. Not really sure if he ever got into Ukraine. There are reports that he was there. Not sure if he even got to the fighting stage. Saw a few photos where he did show support for Ukraine. Uh, a, a very nutty, kooky guy. And the weird thing is they apparently had been watching this guy before. There was, I believe it was 2019 when they said that they had kept their eyes on him. I'm not sure how intently that was, but it's getting kind of weird that people who are alleged for doing incidences have already been watched by the FBI. It happened in this case. It happened in the case with the kid who shot the school in Georgia just a couple weeks ago. That they had interviewed him and his father. Kind of knew what was going on with that. So I hate to say this, but there may be one more attempt because I don't see the urgency from the government to increase security. I don't know if Donald J. Trump is increasing the security himself, but I don't see the urgency from the federal government. And I think, you know, deranged individuals are going to look at this and say, okay, the first one, he got close. The second one was a little bit closer, but he never got the shot off. I think I could do better than both of them. I'm going to take my shot. So I think you could possibly see a third attempted assassination of President Donald J. Trump because this is only emboldening those individuals who think maybe I could be the one that did it. So it's a little scary right now. It's a little. Listen, even if you don't like him, if you heard in another country that there was a presidential candidate who was possibly getting assassinated, I mean, you'd be scratching your head saying, "What kind of country is that? Where are those people living in where you can't even run for a presidency there? That's crazy." Well, the country's America now. The country's the United States of America now, and to look at it and to read these headlines, it really makes you scratch your head and say, "Where are we living right now?" Unbelievable, unbelievable. And here's another thing to think about. Okay. If you're on the other side, you're on the left, you say, yes, Kamala Harris, she won the debate. She's going to have a lot of momentum. She's getting into some, not press conferences because she hadn't done press conference in 57 days, but she's doing some, meetings and she's going to some rallies and she's trying to build this momentum and keep it going. And then by the weekend, you already have Trump back in the headlines. If you're on if you're on the Harris team right now, you're trying to suppress everything about Trump right now, which they're trying to do with the assassination, but You should get people out to get other people to say, "Hey, don't even bring a gun near him. Don't bring a gun to his rally. Don't do anything to upset anything. We need our momentum. We need to keep going. We need our names in the newspapers." And they're not. They're not. I haven't heard one article on walls. I've heard what? Yeah, the debate for Harris, but that's about it. I haven't heard anything else on either two of those people. So you're not building anything for good momentum to keep going. And you're honestly, I think, putting a lot of people in a position where they're kind of becoming very sympathetic to Donald Trump. And they're saying, hey, this guy, he's out here almost getting killed. Like maybe there is something really wrong here, and we kind of need to vote for him because nobody's stopping it and nobody's changing it. So I, I think it's really, really mismanaged on the Democratic side. I think, like I said before, and I've put out on a couple posts on Twitter, now X, that I think, President Trump should have actually played up the assassination more during the ABC News debate and should have clearly went after her and say, why have we not figured anything out on the attempted assassination in Pennsylvania, the first one? Why had we not figured out more and how it was that it went down? But yet we already had so many details on a school shooting in Georgia where we had video already of them talking to this kid and dad. And we haven't gone anywhere in my case. And I think he should have hammered that a little bit more during the debate. I certainly would have if I was up on the stage or talking to him, because it just shows the incompetency of the government right now. Like they really can't get anything done and apparently haven't been able to get anything done in quite some time. They're investigating people, yet these people are still going out and doing what they planned on doing. So what does that say? What, how does it get explained? It's crazy. And I think people may, you still have what, 49 days, basically 7 weeks till the election, that there's plenty of time to go and tell people, hey, this was going on, this was going on. They knew about it and they didn't do anything about it. Do you still trust your government right now? Or do you want a new government? And I think a lot of people are going to start waking up and saying, hey, I kind of want a new government, because what happens if there's another 9/11 event? I mean, what happens if there's World War III? Are they going to know about it and just let it happen? I mean, you don't want your children dying. You don't want to die. It's definitely something you have to think about. And it's crazy. And so I think a lot of sympathies going towards Trump. I think Trump's got a good run going right now. If he keeps the momentum going into September, certainly think he should do another debate with Vice President Harris, for the simple fact that the first one was really just figuring out what she was going to put out. The next one, you can pretty much just take everything she put out, and just bury her with it. Just absolutely bury her with it. And look a little smug, but at the same time, you get the people who are really just rationally thinking about this stuff and saying, God, are we really where we're at? So, yeah, that's my take on that. And that's what's going on right now. In geopolitical politics, crazy, crazy thing. How many people remember pagers? So yeah, those they were sometimes referred to as beepers. Anyone who lived through the 90s probably remembers those. You'd either get a phone number that would show up on a little LCD screen and you'd call that number back to get somebody, or I think even the more modern ones could actually send the message to to you. And then Eventually, everyone just got cell phones, and then that was it. So, Hezbollah over in Lebanon, uh, an Islamic group, decided to use beepers and pagers to communicate to each other. So they had just recently got a new batch of these pagers or beepers, and a lot of them were wearing them. And for some reason today, right around noon Eastern time, they were suddenly exploding. Some very violently, some just a simple explosion of a battery fire. Um, it's very early reporting right now whether there were any explosives in the beepers, or there's another story saying it was a type of malware, which is basically computer code sent to these beepers, which created the some type of miscommunication with it, where it simply started heating up the battery and the battery exploded. Not sure how that works. I'm I'm pretty good with computers, but I'm not that good with computers. So, I don't know. I kinda honestly think it might have been this, that somebody infiltrated a beeper, pager, whatever, that company decided to build a small explosive into these things, start handing them out to Hezbollah saying, "Hey, we got a great deal. This is where we're going." They think, "Hey, all right, cool. We don't have to pay as much. We're going to take them. Let's go." And then simply you pick a date and it just boom, all goes off at the same time. Because the casualties were, I believe they said 2 Hezbollah soldiers were killed as of the time of the reading that I was reading it earlier. They said a little girl had been killed also, looking into that, but that a lot of them were going to the hospital or being brought to the hospital with head injuries, hip injuries, side injuries, torso injuries, which would like small grenades going off on them. And I heard up to 2,800 people, Hezbollah soldiers, had been hit with this. So this is not just, hey, my phone heated up and blew up in the car and the car caught on fire. This looks like a coordinated attack. No parties have come out and claimed um that they were the ones who did it, but it's kind of leaning towards the country right next door, Israel, who are fighting with them. Now, I'm not knocking Israel for doing this. I don't think anyone would. They're at war. It's a war between the Houthis, Hezbollah, the Yemen group, who's after them also, Iran. So when you're at war, somebody's going to die from one side. Someone's going to die from the other side. That's just how war works. There are casualties. Some are directly affected, some are indirectly affected. That's war. They're in a war, they're trying to survive. People are going to die out there. I'm not blaming them for this at all, but I understand if they did do it. I completely understand it. It's a great way to precisely attack your enemy. If Hezbollah soldiers are the ones carrying these pagers because they need to be contacted, you hope that it's enough an explosion to hurt them, but not enough to kill anyone else. And from the early reporting, it looks like that. But again, still trying to confirm if there was a little girl who died. I am saddened for that little girl. But I understand that this is war, and it's a pretty good tactic to make sure you get critical hits. So hopefully you have some of these men who decide, shit, I don't want that to happen to me again. I'm out. I'm out of the war. I'm done. I'm gonna go sit somewhere and I'm gonna regrow my skin for the next 6 months. So it's it's an interesting story. So if you heard pagers, beepers exploding, that's the story behind it. So that's my political coverage. I don't think there's pretty much anything else on that, but feel free to leave something in the chat if I missed it, and I'll get to it if I can get to it, or next week. We'll see. So moving on to the economy, the big news in the economy is tomorrow is the announcement. The Fed is meeting today and tomorrow, and all indications are there's going to be an interest rate cut. Now, I am going through the process of my old videos from January to find the moment where I stated the earliest you would get a Fed cut was September. Damn, it feels good to be right. I was right on the money with that one. So, we're getting the rate cut. Now is more the how much is it going to be? Is it going to be a quarter point? Is it going to be a half point? Is it maybe going to be 3/4 points? That's going to be the decision that they're working on today and tomorrow. And they should release that around 2 o'clock tomorrow. So we'll be able to see kind of where they're at. Does it make a whole lot of difference to regular you, me, and Joe? Not a whole lot. I mean, uh, home mortgages are already going down. I looked at the 30-year today. It's about 6.12 for very good credit. So you're at 6%, which is far better than the 7.5 you were getting a year ago. So I don't know if that'll really move much because of the interest rate point. I think it'll move due to the lack of people trying to get a mortgage right now. You have a lot of people refinancing to get that good rate, but you don't have as many people trying to actually buy a new home. And if you're living in the South, Texas and Florida are the two states right now having huge, very big, huge price cuts in a lot of the homes in certain areas. So there's a condo crisis in Florida due to the new laws stating that the condo association needs to have full reserves for any repairs or maintenance of the building. So now they're having to go to the people that own these condos and saying, we need more money, which is never a good thing when people are losing their jobs and not having enough money to go on already. So that is causing the condo crisis in Florida. I would suggest don't buy a condo right now in Florida unless you get a crazy, I'm talking crazy deal on it, because you're basically going to pay which they call an assessment. You're going to pay the extra money to do the maintenance and repairs for this year, and then you may get hit again next year. So you may want to wait a little on that. Rent if you can. Hold off if you can do that, even better. It's just not a good time to buy a condo. The homes, well, the investment bankers are leaving. They don't care about the home. They were never living there. They were renting it. The renter's gone. The renter wasn't paying for it. They're losing money every month on it, and they will unload the home for whatever they need to get out of it. Does hurt other homes in the area because it starts bringing the prices down, but it helps everybody get into a more manageably priced home. So, do I cry for it? No, because most of these investment bankers are big dollar people and they're going to be okay. Some of the mom and pop investors, hopefully they were paying attention, and you still can sell at a pretty good rate and get out. The Airbnb is drying up. Even the market is drying up. So it's a good time to unload. The only people that are really going to hurt from all of this is people who may have bought in the last 2 years, some into the third year, 2021. If you overpaid on the home and now you decide I got to go back to New York or I got to go back to DC and they're calling me back, which Amazon is now calling everybody back for 5 days a week. You may run into a problem there because your house may not be anywhere near where it was worth. So you might have to take the hit on that one, but just watch my show and you would have learned not to buy a home then. So anyway, the Fed rate cut comes tomorrow. We'll have to see where it is. More so see where they're at. Are there going to be more cuts? They have 2 more meetings this year in November and December. Could possibly do cuts there. I think they may try to get the rate down at least a point. So that's 4 cuts if they're only quarter points. So it could roll right into next year. We'll see. I think we're in a recession right now. And I know layoffs, they say they're not huge. I say they're pretty important. People losing jobs. But not just people losing jobs. You may have a place where, 1 or 2 people are let go. And they have to go try to find a job. And they can't find a job. Doesn't make headlines, but it happens. And that's people who still have to pay for their family, pay for their homes, pay for their bills, and now they don't have an income. So it's a big thing for them. So absolutely, when you hear this kind of stuff where, layoffs weren't that bad this quarter, they're bad. They're bad for the people going through it. So just think about that. What can I say for the rest of the year? Survive till 25. Like I say, if you need to make a big purchase, make sure you're getting a good deal on it, a good value on it. If it's a home, if it's a car, those are 2 big major purchases. If you could save some money at this point, interest rates are still good on savings rates. I'm coming off the buying T-bonds and savings bonds and T-bills and all that. The rates have gone down quite a bit. It's not worth it. You're better going to your local bank and just putting money in a savings if you're doing that. If you're not, downsize a little, even if you can make your house payment a couple hundred shorter, refinance. If you're in an apartment, go apartment hunting right now. Most of the kids are back in college, so the prices will start coming down a little for September into October, before Christmas time. So you might be able to get a better rental rate if you're up for the move. It'll start saving you for next year, and it's good time to check those out too. So survive till 25. That's it. That's the economic news. And now we'll finish off with dating in the modern age. Where are we at? Where are we going? I've got some good news. We'll start with the good news, obviously. The amount of companies now that are doing the meeting in real life, the dating in real life stuff, even in my city, Orlando, as I am the Angriest man from Orlando, they're building. They're becoming bigger. They're doing more events. They're actually bringing prices down a little. We actually have about 3 or 4 different companies now working in Orlando, and it's getting better. So I know when it first started, there was only basically one company, and it was around $35 to get into an event, which means, you maybe do one twice a year and see what happens and go from there. Now there are other companies, they're bringing the price point down to about was about 14 to 19 bucks if you get in early enough. And it's simple coffee hours. They're doing, some people just don't drink. So, you could go do a coffee, you can go meet people. Um, it's a fun experience. Even if I'll never get a date from there. I'll never go meet anybody from there. It's a fun experience just to go out and talk to other people. You get to find out about their life, they get to find about your life. And the interactions actually give you some perspective into other people's lives, into other people's careers, into other people's motivations for stuff. So it's a really fun experience that you get to see people that you may never have ever seen in your life. And you find out sometimes they're just like you, sometimes they're completely not like you. And it's a fun time. You get some cool stories out of it. And then you may just say, I'm never going to do that again. But it's fun. Go try it. And it's definitely growing. I think a lot of people are starting to try that. They're getting off the apps and the websites and everything, and they're trying a more in real life thing. And it's becoming much more fun. You may not see the same person twice as much now. So definitely something to go try out. As for the bad news, yeah, the sites still suck. The apps still suck. You can, depending on what type of person you're looking for, you can actually run out of choices on some of these apps. Um, I go in and I try, I base it on me. And I have a few friends that are also doing it. So they give me their input on what they're finding out there. Reading some of the Reddit channels is great. Gives you a whole perspective on what's really going on. But you can, if you have certain things you're looking for, and if you get really detailed with what you're looking for, you can actually run out of matches. And what they'll end up doing, because they don't want you off the site, they want you on all the time to keep pumping you, selling ads on some of these. They want you to connect enough that you pay to keep going. So they have to keep you on. They can't have you run out. So they will simply start throwing people that maybe kind of fit what you're looking for. And I know it's their best effort, but sometimes it aggravates the person enough to say, all right, it's time for me to take a break from it. And I think that's a good thing. Take a break from it. Um, Feel free. You want to put it down for a week or so. It's okay. You come back, those same people are still going to be there. If you want to delete your profile, delete your profile. You come back. What I've seen on a few of them is they will actually send you the same rotation of people that you went through the first time. No lie. This has actually been seen on a couple sites where you delete the profile, you go back in as the same exact person, put in the same everything, same description, same pictures. Hey, I'm the same person. So even if it's smart enough, even if it has AI, it should know this is the same person who just logged off a little bit ago and deleted their profile. They're back. I should give them new people. No, there's a few sites that actually will still give you the same people in the same order to go through again. I don't know why. Not sure why this hasn't been solved yet. Maybe it hasn't even been found out yet at some of these companies, but it's kind of weird because you kind of have already seen some of these people. Another thing that came up with the sites is they will actually every couple days rotate the cycle and send you the same person. So if you say no the first day, okay, 4 or 5 days later, you may see that person again. You say, no, they still don't fit. 4 or 5 days later, you may say no again. Then you hit that fourth time, And through all the other people you've seen, now maybe this person actually looks good to you. And you say, eh, you know, maybe this is worth it. Maybe this is the person. So I think that's clever. That's clever. They kind of beat you over the head with a stick to get you to get with somebody. So it's an interesting and clever move by them. So that's something to watch for with that. Um it is becoming fall and it's becoming close. We're getting close to, I guess we'll call it hibernating season. You know, squirrels are packing their nuts in the tree. Everyone's getting their food, getting ready to hibernate. So I think you'll see an influx over the next couple weeks of people going out. You know, they'll spend a little, not a lot, but they'll be hitting events, they'll be hitting social scenes, and they'll be trying to find somebody because you've got Thanksgiving coming up. You've got Christmas parties coming up. You've got the holidays to plan for. And you don't really want to do it alone every year. So now's a good time that if you want to jump back on, go try it out, go see what's out there. I would say try more the in real life stuff because you'll have a much more fun experience. So I know it costs a little bit more, but it's worth it. So get your mama bear or papa bear before you start hibernating because if you hibernate alone, it gets kind of cold. Yeah, it gets a little cold. Um yeah. And then we're getting up to Halloween. Halloween is almost here. It's that time of year where watching a scary movie is fun with someone else. So again, the triggers are there, so I think it'll get a little better at least till early November. If you get up to Thanksgiving, just pull yourself out, go to some Thanksgiving parties, go to some Christmas parties. You might meet somebody there. You never know. So, um that's where we're at with modern dating. It's not a whole hell of a lot better, but it's slightly better. It's not 2020 where everybody was locked away and nobody was talking to anyone. We're not there. We're past there. We're a little bit past there. So, yeah, wonderful. Wonderful stuff. So, yeah, I'll go over once again. Next week's show, we're gonna start around 9 o'clock. Trying to get more people on live throughout the country. So if you know a friend in another state wants to watch, tell them about us. Tell them about me. Um, and then yeah, we're gonna do just strictly the topics, sprinkling a few little stories about other stuff, and we'll go from there. And I think that's about it. Yeah. So is anybody angry about anything? Let's check the chat. Nothing in chat. Okay. Uh, who's been subscribing to my X account? Amazing numbers of people are coming online. They may be bots. I don't care. I love it. It's the followers are much more than who I'm actually following. So that's always a good sign. Just keep it going. I do post from time to time. I try to post fun stuff, funny stuff, laughing stuff, thinking about stuff, angry stuff, a lot of angry stuff on there, a lot of angry stuff. And it's fun. You can communicate with me, drop me a message, it goes directly to me. I'll get it a lot quicker. And all you have to do is go to X and type in the angriest man in Orlando, and up comes this lovely face. So you can follow on that or subscribe on YouTube, follow on Rumble, and make sure to give us a like. Helps with the algorithm, and share it. I don't have any copyright on any of this stuff. It is officially done by me, but I'm okay if you want to advertise me out there on your own social sites. Go for it. So have fun, have a blast. Everybody, I'm on the dark web anyway, so I'm pretty sure people know who I am. So, yeah, it's good. It's fine. No worries. I guess that was our angry moment of the show. And with that, we're going to wrap up. Hope you all have a wonderful week. Join me on the 2 Men in a Room show on Thursdays on the 2 Men in a Room channel. And until then, stay angry, my friends.